Welcome to Hennett Minutes. I'm Greg Hennett. Today's topic is the Theology of Delight. You know, the Bible repeatedly warns us about boasting, telling us not to boast. What is boasting? Well, it's talking with excessive pride or self-satisfaction, that is delight, rejoicing, celebration, in one's achievements, one's possessions, or one's abilities. Now, our achievements speak of success in something. Our possessions mean money and things. Our abilities include our gifts, our strengths, our fortes. Now, inward boasting is more dangerous than outward boasting. Why? Because we tend not to recognize it. Inward boasting occurs in our mind when we delight inwardly in our thoughts over something, our achievements, our successes, our possessions, our wealth, or our abilities. Now, here's a fact, friend. We all boast or delight in and rejoice in or celebrate in something. The question is it the right kind of delight or the wrong kind? Well, two Bible texts will help us. First, Luke chapter 10. We'll begin with verse 17. And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the demons are subject unto us through your name. So they were rejoicing in their exercise of divine power and their religious success. And Jesus said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. He's referring to Satan's fall through pride. Behold, I give unto you power. Notice, I've given you the power. I've given unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding, or nevertheless, in this rejoice not. So he's telling them, do not rejoice in your success, your religious success specifically, or your having power and authority from me. Then he goes on to say, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. So he told them what not to delight in and what to delight in. He gave them a negative, then he gave them a positive. Perfect instruction. Now, Jeremiah gives us even more information. Jeremiah 9:23 and 24. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, in his accumulation of knowledge and skill in using that knowledge, in making right decisions. Neither let the mighty man glory in his might, that is, his influence or power or authority. Let not the rich man glory in his riches or in his wealth and assets. That's the negative. Here Jeremiah, God is speaking through Jeremiah and saying, don't do these things. But let him that glories, him that delights, him that boasts, him that rejoices, him that celebrates, glory in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am the Lord, or the sovereign, who exercises loving kindness, justice, and righteousness in the earth. And then he adds this crucial statement, for in these things I delight, saith the Lord. Now let's break this down just a moment. Here in verse 24, the Lord's telling us what to glory in. This is the positive. Glory in understanding him. Now that word in the Hebrew means having insight, being able to see or discern. So he's saying glory in that you have insight into my ways, how I operate in your life, in the church, in the world. And then that you know me. Oh, that's so important, to privately, intimately know God, to spend time with him, to come to know his character through his word and through his work in your life and what you see around you. Jesus said, this is life eternal, that they may know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom thou hast sent. And he meant that intimate, personal, close knowledge of the Lord. And then he goes on to say that we should also rejoice in his loving kindness, that is his faithful love or his loving faithfulness. Either phrase is correct. God is so faithful, and in his love, he never fails in his faithfulness. This is his covenant love. And his justice, that's his just judgments. We see unjust judgments around us all the time. It's terrible. It's vexing. But God is saying, my judgments are always just. And then his righteousness. God is always in the right. He always does the right thing from the moral viewpoint. And also, he gives us right relationship with him and teaches us to always be in the right if we obey his word and his spirit. And then again, he adds, in these things I delight. So we see in verse 23 the negative, verse 24 the positive. What should be our reaction? Well, first of all, we should realize God knows us perfectly. Both of these texts just really diagnose the sin problem that we have, particularly pride. And we should also then, as a result, neglect the negative in our life, the wrong delighting, and then practice and persist in the right delight in our life. Now, why is this so important? Because if we don't learn this lesson, God simply cannot and will not entrust us with his wisdom, with his power, and with his resources to use for his kingdom. Why? Because we would destroy ourselves through pride, just like Satan did, and just like we've seen so many individuals in human history and in church history and in the ministry do, because they were rejoicing in the wrong thing. Now, let me paraphrase these two verses in Jeremiah. God is saying, delight in what I delight in, and I will delight in you. I'll repeat that. God is speaking to you today. Delight in what I delight in, and I will delight in you. This, my friends, is the theology of delight. Please study it, please practice it, and delight God's heart.